Every single morning, when you open your eyes, life presents you with a choice. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or how far behind you think you are. Each sunrise resets the game. The question is never, can I change my life? The question is always, will I choose to? That single decision, repeated every day, is what separates those who dream from those who do. Most people underestimate how powerful that choice is because it feels small, invisible, even meaningless in the moment. But that small choice is the seed of every great transformation that has ever happened. We all wake up to the same world, yet we don't all experience it the same way. Some people wake up already defeated, scrolling through their phones, thinking of everything they lack, everything they failed to do, and every reason they can't move forward. Others wake up with fire in their eyes, even when life has been cruel, even when the odds are against them. What's the difference? It's the choice to see possibility instead of limitation. The choice to move anyway, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Choice is not passive, it's an act of courage. It's standing up and saying, I will not be defined by what's behind me. It's refusing to let fear, doubt, or fatigue decide the direction of your life. Every great leader, every innovator, every person who ever created something meaningful started not with the perfect plan, but with a single decision: to try. To take that first uncomfortable step when they didn't yet know where it would lead. The truth is, the biggest battles aren't fought in boardrooms, on stages, or in front of crowds. They're fought quietly in the mind the moment you decide whether to hit snooze or to rise, whether to stay small or to grow. Every choice you make sends a signal to your future self, either I'm ready or I'm not. Over time, those small signals shape your destiny more than any single moment of luck or talent ever could. Some people spend years waiting for the right time to start, waiting for clarity, for confidence, for some magical feeling of readiness that never comes. But the truth is, clarity doesn't precede action, it follows it. You find your purpose by moving, not by waiting. Every time you choose to take action despite uncertainty, you carve out a clearer path toward who you're meant to become. The power of choice is not about perfection, it's about direction. You will make mistakes. You will take wrong turns. You will stumble and doubt yourself. But as long as you keep choosing forward, as long as you keep choosing growth, you cannot lose. Every wrong turn teaches you something vital about the right one. Every setback strengthens your ability to stand taller the next time. Many people believe that life changes when something big happens, a promotion, a relationship, a breakthrough moment. But in reality, life changes the moment you decide it must. One honest choice can ripple through your entire existence. Choosing discipline over comfort. Choosing courage over fear. Choosing progress over perfection. Each of those decisions may seem small on its own, but together they rewrite your story. Choice also means responsibility. It means recognizing that no one else is coming to rescue you. The world owes you nothing, but it offers you everything if you're willing to claim it. The moment you stop blaming circumstances and start owning your choices, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to life and start leading it. There will be days when you won't feel like choosing growth. Days when it feels easier to stay in the comfort of routine, to tell yourself that change can wait. But that's exactly when choice matters most. The hard days are where transformation begins, because the easy days don't build strength. Resistance does. Every time you choose to act when it's hard, you teach your mind that you're stronger than your excuses. When you strip away everything, the goals, the fears, the distractions, it always comes back to one thing: the power to choose. You can choose to repeat yesterday, or you can choose to redefine tomorrow. You can choose to let life happen to you, or you can choose to make life happen through you. That choice, made consciously, intentionally, and consistently, is where real change begins. Belief is the quiet force that turns an ordinary person into someone unstoppable. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need validation. It lives deep inside, in that space where dreams and doubts wrestle every day. It's what allows someone to keep going when logic says stop, when the world says no, and when the results say it's over. Belief is not something you're born with, it's something you build one decision, one action, one brave moment at a time. There are people who have all the talent, all the resources, all the connections in the world, yet they never reach their potential. And there are others with nothing but determination and a spark of belief, who defy the odds and rise higher than anyone expected. The difference between those two groups isn't intelligence or opportunity. It's belief. When you believe in yourself, you activate a kind of energy that draws in possibilities that others never even notice. Belief is not about pretending everything is fine. It's not blind optimism or fake positivity. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to figure things out, even when things aren't clear. It's saying, I may not know how yet, but I will learn. It's choosing faith over fear, not because fear disappears, but because you decide it will not control you. Every great story of success, innovation, or change begins with that kind of belief, the kind that refuses to give up when the outcome is uncertain. Belief fuels persistence. It's what keeps the athlete training when the stands are empty. It's what keeps the entrepreneur building when the profits aren't showing. It's what keeps the artist creating when no one is watching. Without belief, the work feels heavy, the road feels endless, and every obstacle looks like a wall. With belief, those same obstacles become stepping stones, and every setback becomes proof that you're still in the game. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeking permission to dream. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're ready. You stop measuring your worth by other people's opinions. You realize that no one can validate your vision better than you can. And in that realization, you find freedom, the freedom to start where you are, with what you have, and to trust that it's enough to begin. The most powerful form of belief is built through action. You can't think your way into confidence, you earn it by doing. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, each time you follow through when it's uncomfortable, you send a message to your own mind. I can trust me. That's how belief grows, not from external praise, but from the quiet, consistent practice of self-respect. You become someone whose actions reinforce their words, and over time, that consistency becomes unshakable belief. Belief also shapes how you see failure. When you believe in yourself, failure isn't a dead end. It's data. It's feedback. It's a lesson. You start to understand that every time something doesn't work out, it's not proof of weakness. It's an opportunity to refine your strategy. You stop seeing mistakes as signs to quit and start seeing them as signs that you're trying, learning, evolving. The belief doesn't erase pain, but it gives pain a purpose. People often wait for belief to show up before they start. They say, I'll start when I feel ready, or I'll believe in myself when I see results. But belief doesn't come after proof. It creates the proof. It's the leap before the evidence appears. Every person who ever accomplished something extraordinary had to believe before the world agreed. They acted as if it were possible until it became real. When you build belief, you also build resilience. Because belief reminds you that your value doesn't depend on a single moment or outcome. You could fail 100 times and still know that one success can change everything. You could lose your way and still believe you'll find it again. That's the strength belief gives you, not immunity from hardship, but the power to rise through it. At its core, belief is an act of creation. It's how you take an invisible idea and bring it into the world through persistence, conviction, and faith. The person who believes in themselves doesn't wait for signs, they become the sign. They turn uncertainty into possibility simply because they decide to keep moving. And every time they do, they reinforce the truth that belief isn't magic. It's the mindset that makes magic possible. We live in a world that constantly measures success by what can be seen, the titles, the numbers, the status, the applause. People are taught to chase these markers as proof of worth, as if happiness and validation are waiting on the other side of achievement. But the truth is, success without purpose feels hollow. You can reach the top of the mountain only to realize it was the wrong one. Purpose gives success direction. It turns achievement into contribution and transforms personal gain into meaningful impact. When you live only for success, you end up running in circles. You achieve one goal, then immediately move the target further away. You buy, you win, you acquire, yet the satisfaction fades quickly, leaving you hungry for the next thing. That's because success feeds the ego, but purpose feeds the soul. The ego will always want more, but the soul wants meaning. When what you do aligns with who you are and why you care, the chase stops feeling exhausting and starts feeling fulfilling. Purpose is what turns work into a calling. It's what makes even the most ordinary tasks feel significant because they contribute to something bigger than you. You can spend your life making a living, or you can spend it making a difference. The difference isn't in the job title or the paycheck, it's in the intention behind what you do. Purpose doesn't depend on position, it depends on perspective. A teacher, a nurse, a builder, a writer, any of them can live with purpose if they connect their effort to the impact it creates. People often think they have to find their purpose as if it's hiding somewhere out there waiting to be discovered. But purpose isn't something you find, it's something you build. It grows from curiosity, from contribution, from paying attention to what moves you. You discover it through action, by doing, failing, reflecting, and doing again. The more you engage with life, the clearer your sense of purpose becomes. It's not a single revelation, it's a lifelong conversation between your values and your experiences. Living with purpose changes how you handle challenges. When your work is tied to something meaningful, obstacles don't feel like roadblocks. They feel like tests of commitment. You start to see struggle as proof that what you're doing matters. Every late night, every setback, every disappointment becomes part of the story that gives your effort weight and depth. Purpose doesn't make the path easier, but it makes it worth walking. Purpose also connects you to people in a different way. When you live for something greater than yourself, you naturally draw others who share that same vision. It builds trust. It inspires collaboration. It gives relationships a foundation beyond convenience or gain. When people come together around a shared purpose, they stop competing and start contributing. They stop comparing and start creating. That's how movements begin, not from ambition, but from alignment. Without purpose, success can become dangerous. It can inflate your ego, isolate you, and leave you chasing recognition instead of results that matter. But with purpose, success becomes a tool, something that amplifies your ability to serve. Purpose humbles you, reminding you that your achievements mean little if they don't make life better for someone else. It grounds you in gratitude, keeping your focus on giving instead of just getting. Purpose is also deeply personal. No one can define it for you, and no one can take it from you. It doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just has to be real. For some, it's raising a family with love. For others, it's building a business that solves a problem. For some, it's simply showing up with kindness in a world that often forgets compassion. Whatever form it takes, purpose gives your days direction and your struggles meaning. When you live with purpose, you stop measuring your life by what you've accumulated and start measuring it by what you've contributed. You begin to realize that your legacy isn't built by what you own, but by what you give, teach, and inspire in others. That's what makes a life significant. Not the size of your success, but the depth of your impact. Every day offers a chance to align your actions with your purpose. Every moment is an opportunity to ask, why am I doing this? The answer to that question will shape how you work, how you lead, and how you live. Because when you move with purpose, every step, no matter how small, takes you in the right direction toward a life that doesn't just look successful, but truly feels meaningful. Consistency is the quiet architect of transformation. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't demand attention, but it builds everything of value in life. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve lies in what they do repeatedly, not occasionally. Anyone can be inspired for a day, motivated for a week, or focused for a month. But the ones who create lasting change are those who show up again and again, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means doing what matters most, especially on the days you don't feel like it. It's the discipline of showing up through boredom, frustration, and doubt. The truth is, motivation fades, excitement burns out, and inspiration comes and goes. Consistency is what carries you through the spaces between those moments. It's the bridge that connects intention to results, turning effort into excellence. When you practice consistency, you begin to build momentum. The small habits you repeat daily start compounding quietly beneath the surface. You may not see the results immediately, but something powerful is forming. The person who lifts weights every day, writes a little each morning, studies an hour every night. They are becoming stronger, sharper, and more capable with each repetition. The progress may be invisible at first, but over time it becomes undeniable. The human mind loves progress but resists patience. We crave instant gratification, quick wins, visible change. But consistency asks for faith. Faith that your small actions will pay off long after the novelty wears off. It's about trusting the process when the outcome isn't yet visible. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted, and neither does personal growth. Consistency is the watering of that seed, the quiet care that turns potential into reality. One of the hardest truths to accept is that success often looks boring up close. It's repetition, refinement, routine. It's doing the same things, practicing, learning, improving, while others look for shortcuts. But what looks boring on the surface is where mastery is born. Greatness is not about doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, over and over. Consistency also builds character. It teaches you to rely on effort instead of luck, on discipline instead of bursts of motivation. It strengthens your relationship with yourself because each time you follow through, you prove that your word means something. You start to trust yourself more deeply. You become reliable in your own eyes, and that inner trust becomes the foundation for confidence that can't be faked. When you are consistent, life starts to align. Your priorities become clear because your actions reflect what truly matters to you. Consistency eliminates confusion. It shows you what works and what doesn't. It teaches you what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Over time, it filters out distractions and helps you move closer to your purpose with precision and focus. Consistency is not glamorous, and that's why many give up too soon. People often quit not because they lack ability, but because they don't see results fast enough. But if you look closely at anyone who has achieved something meaningful, an athlete, an artist, an entrepreneur, a leader, you'll find years of quiet repetition behind their success. The hours of unseen effort, the sacrifices no one applauded, the persistence through failure. That's what shaped them. There's also a kind of peace that comes from consistency. When you build good habits, your life gains rhythm. You no longer have to fight yourself every day to do the right thing because it becomes part of who you are. The chaos of indecision fades. You move from hoping for progress to expecting it because you've built a system that works. Consistency creates structure, and structure creates freedom. Every day you stay consistent, you're voting for the person you want to become. Each small action is a declaration of intent. Proof that you're serious about your growth. Even when the results seem distant, each repetition is sculpting something within you, shaping your skills, sharpening your mindset, and preparing you for the moment when all that quiet effort finally pays off. Obstacles are not there to stop you. They are there to shape you. Every challenge you encounter is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's easy to see obstacles as interruptions, as barriers between you and your goals. But in truth, they are the path itself. Growth does not happen in comfort. It happens when you are tested, when your limits are stretched, and when you are forced to find a way forward despite uncertainty and discomfort. When something stands in your way, you have a choice to see it as a reason to stop or as a reason to evolve. People who succeed are not the ones who avoid obstacles. They are the ones who learn from them. They look at every setback and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Each difficulty, each disappointment, each failure carries a lesson that can't be learned in any other way. The wisdom gained through struggle becomes the foundation for future strength. Obstacles reveal character. They strip away the surface layers of comfort and show you who you really are when things get hard. Anyone can be confident when everything is going right, but it's your response to adversity that defines you. Will you break or will you bend and adapt? The people who rise are those who use pressure as fuel, who allow challenges to forge them into something tougher, more capable, and more self-aware than they were before. It's natural to resist pain and struggle, to wish the path was easier. But if you got everything you wanted without resistance, you would never develop the skills or mindset needed to sustain it. The storm teaches you to stand firm. The obstacle forces you to think creatively. The delay teaches you patience. The loss teaches you humility. Every challenge gives you something valuable, but only if you are willing to look beyond the frustration and find the meaning hidden within it. Many people misinterpret failure as the opposite of success when in fact it's a part of it. Failure is feedback. It's information that guides you toward better decisions, sharper focus, and improved methods. Without failure, there's no refinement. Every successful person carries a history of setbacks that built their resilience. They didn't get lucky. They learned how to keep going when it hurt, how to adapt when plans fell apart, and how to find opportunity in what seemed like defeat. Obstacles also reveal what truly matters to you. When you're faced with hardship, you find out how deep your commitment runs. If you give up easily, perhaps the goal wasn't rooted in real passion. But if you keep going despite the struggle, that's when you discover your purpose. Obstacles are a mirror. They show you whether your why is strong enough to withstand the weight of your how. Passion that endures difficulty becomes conviction, and conviction moves mountains. There's a quiet transformation that happens each time you overcome something hard. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. You realize that you've faced difficult moments before and survived. That self-trust becomes the foundation of confidence that no one can take away. Confidence that isn't built on comfort, but on proof. Proof that you can handle whatever comes next because you've already handled what once felt impossible. Obstacles also teach empathy and humility. When you struggle, you begin to understand others who are fighting their own battles. You stop judging and start connecting. The pain you endure allows you to relate to people on a deeper level, to lead with compassion instead of pride. In that way, obstacles don't just make you stronger, they make you more human. They remind you that strength isn't about having no scars, but about having the courage to keep showing up with them. Sometimes obstacles redirect you towards something better. A closed door may force you to find a new one you would have never seen if the first had remained open. Life has a way of using challenges to reroute us toward growth, to push us away from what's comfortable and toward what's possible. The moment you stop fighting the obstacle and start working with it, everything begins to shift. You start to see that what feels like a setback may actually be the very thing preparing you for your breakthrough. Every obstacle carries within it the potential to transform your mindset. It forces you to slow down, to question, to adapt, and to rise. It strengthens your capacity to persevere, to endure, and to keep faith even when progress seems invisible. Each time you meet resistance and continue forward, you're not just getting closer to your goal, you're becoming someone new, someone who understands that the purpose of the obstacle was never to block the path, but to build the person who walks it. Every day arrives as a blank page, untouched and waiting for you to write on it. What you choose to do with that page determines the direction of your life. Too often, people wait for the right timing, the right conditions, or the right feeling before they act. But waiting is another form of hesitation, and hesitation slowly turns into regret. The truth is, there is no perfect time, only the time you decide is right. Taking ownership of today means understanding that your future is built from the choices you make right now, in this moment. Each morning, you have the power to start again, to reset your mindset, and decide how you're going to show up. The past cannot be undone, but today is fully yours to command. Ownership means refusing to let yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries control how you live today. It's the discipline of staying grounded in the present while keeping your eyes on what you're becoming. The only real control you have over your life begins with how you handle this day. The actions you take, the energy you bring, and the mindset you choose to carry. Taking ownership of today also means accepting responsibility for where you are. It's not about blame, it's about awareness. When you acknowledge that your life is a reflection of your decisions, you reclaim your power to change it. As long as you keep pointing fingers at others, at luck, at circumstance, you remain stuck. Ownership is liberation. It's saying, if I created this reality through my choices, I can create a better one through new choices. That shift from victimhood to accountability is where growth begins. People often underestimate the weight of small decisions. They think major turning points define their lives, but it's the small, consistent choices that shape who they become. The decision to get up earlier, to read instead of scroll, to speak kindly instead of complain, to act instead of procrastinate, those moments, repeated over time, define your character. Ownership means recognizing that everything you do matters even when no one else sees it. Each choice is a vote for the person you want to be. Ownership also requires honesty. The kind that's uncomfortable but necessary. It's looking at your habits, your excuses, and your patterns with brutal clarity. It's admitting where you've been holding yourself back, where you've been waiting for things to change instead of changing yourself. True ownership means facing that reflection without denial or justification. You can't improve what you refuse to acknowledge. The courage to be honest with yourself is the foundation of every lasting transformation. Taking ownership doesn't mean you have to control everything. It means you take responsibility for how you respond to what you can't control. Life will always bring uncertainty. Unexpected events, challenges, losses, delays. You can't dictate the circumstances, but you can choose your attitude. You can choose patience over panic, focus over frustration, gratitude over complaint. When you control your response, you take back your peace, even in chaos. Ownership turns adversity into an opportunity for strength. When you live with ownership, you stop living on autopilot. You stop waiting for things to happen and start creating them. You begin to move with intention instead of routine. Every task, no matter how small, becomes an expression of purpose. You stop going through the motions and start showing up with presence. That shift changes the quality of your work, your relationships, and your sense of fulfillment. Ownership brings meaning to every action because it comes from choice, not obligation. There's a discipline that comes with ownership, the discipline to follow through, even when motivation fades. It's easy to make promises when energy is high, but ownership means honoring those promises when it's hard, when you're tired, when you'd rather quit. Each time you keep your word to yourself, you strengthen your integrity. You build a kind of internal leadership that no external circumstance can shake. You start trusting yourself, and that self-trust becomes the foundation for confidence and momentum. Owning today also means being fully present in it. You can't change tomorrow if your mind is trapped in yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears. When you focus on the task at hand, when you give your best to the moment in front of you, the future begins to align itself naturally. Presence amplifies power because all creation, all change, all action can only ever happen in the now. Ownership is about mastering that now, turning ordinary moments into opportunities for growth. Every morning offers you a new chance to lead yourself, to take control of your attitude, your effort, and your direction. Ownership is not about perfection, it's about responsibility. It's choosing to take action, to be proactive instead of reactive, to take one deliberate step toward progress, no matter how small it seems. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who wait for inspiration. They are the ones who choose to take ownership of today and use it as the foundation for everything that comes next.